One of my viewers asked if I talk about some of the things that should be included in a rental agreement. Well, good question, and that's the topic of this video. Hello again, everyone. I'm attorney Robert Flessis. If you're new to this channel, and since you're already here, this is the time to subscribe, because when you subscribe, you'll know where to go when you need answers to your legal questions. Well, this viewer's question can apply to both tenants and landlords because both are going to be bound by the terms of the rental contract. Some of them may seem obvious, but they're really not. The very first thing that should be clearly spelled out in a lease is who is going to live in the unit. Adults should clearly be identified, of course. Plus, if you have children, their name should be indicated in the lease too. You should also consider if you have a child on the way. Put that in the agreement too, so that child has the right to live there. That could save you from a landlord telling you after the birth that there are now too many people living in the unit. You can avoid that by spelling that out in the lease, or at least you'll know before you sign that you'll have too many people residing in the unit and you can decline the lease. The next important item in a lease is the term of the lease. Is it month to month, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year? That term should be clearly stated in the lease. The commencement date and ending date need to be stated in the lease too. This provision sounds like a no-brainer, but it isn't. Why? Each state has different rules for terminating a lease. For example, what is the notice period to terminate a lease? 30 days, 60 days? Both parties need to agree on that before signing the lease. Another important term in a lease is how the security deposit is going to be handled. With most property management companies that act on behalf of a landlord, they usually put the security deposit in a separate account where it's held until you vacate. But there are some landlords that don't segregate a security deposit into a separate account. They commingle it with their personal funds. And what can happen with your security deposit when you move? What if your landlord spent the money and doesn't have it? That provision, if contained in the lease, will save future lawsuits. There should be specific rules attached to a lease that govern what is allowed and not allowed in the premises. For example, where do you park? How many vehicles can be parked on the premises? What happens if there are no spaces available? Are parking spaces assigned? If you live in a high-rise apartment, you can be sure that you'll be using an elevator to get to your unit. What if the elevator breaks down and you can't use it? What if you have some disability that requires you to use the elevator every day? I have a case right now with the same issue. Are there any provisions inserted into the lease agreement that resolve a breakdown? Most times there are not. Is there a rent rebate in the event that the elevator doesn't work for days? This situation can happen. There are a lot more provisions that I could talk about. I'll try to address those in future videos. If you subscribe, you'll know when I've posted one. I'm attorney Robert Flessis. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you in my next video.